The government got pissed off about this. The pedophile rings have gotten so big that the intelligence agencies began to leak all this info. And they knew Hillary was planning to steal the election. She did steal 5 states, according to the experts and proof we have.
How did she do that? What do you mean? But let's
they
not
tried to break into 6 states.
Let's not go on these long rants where there's a bunch of different statements that need to be addressed.
Sure.
So let's just, from right there, you got to get to that. Like, how did she steal 5 states? You can't kind of gloss over that.
Okay, no, she tried to.
How did she do that?
Tried to steal 6 states. She did steal 5 states. Well, Bev Harris, who's a big liberal, big Democrat, had the HBO documentary Hacking Democracy.
Right.
She's the leading expert. She was actually, a month before the election, through whistleblowers, got the actual code that had been loaded on machines all across the country. You should have her in studio to steal the elections.
I saw Hacking Democracy, and I saw that they did engineer those voting machines so that you could have a third-party input and change it. And they did it live on the show.
And that was a decade ago with Bush. This is new.
Okay.
So she's the top election fraud expert. So she comes on my show. The story's on Infowars.com, and she says, we've got evidence, and then I had the hacking experts on, and I had the industry whistleblowers on, and I had the county officials on. At every level, we have the fraud proven that Democrat-connected groups were already loading code onto machines all over the country, but it's different companies, but about, I think it was 18% of the machines in the country, to be able to remotely break in and flip votes. So, because they were aware of that, a bunch of states were waiting and watching, and Homeland Security broke in live into 6 states and kept trying to flip the results, and they even have screenshots and videos of them in the computers, in there clicking and doing it all. There's major investigations going on. You hear the news going, Trump's crazy. He claims illegals voted, to make it about illegals. That was one statement in a larger election fraud deal of actual computers. So Trump knows about all this. So she comes on and says they're planning this fraud. Then she comes on after the election and she says, yes, it's clear. Here's where precincts closed. Here's where all this happened, where 100% went for Hillary, or right after it closed, all the votes that then came in were 100% for Hillary. They didn't even care. But the landslide was so big for Trump, they couldn't steal it. She successfully stole 5 states. She tried to break into 6 others, or her controllers did, and got blocked. The tsunami for Trump was so huge, with the real polling we can break down later, that they still weren't able to steal it. And now patriots inside U.S. intelligence agencies are preparing to roll up the pedophile networks nationwide. That's why you've seen arrests in Pennsylvania, arrests in L.A.
I haven't seen these arrests. Who's getting arrested?
It's just now breaking, and it's big institutionalized.
474 arrests, 28 sexually exploited children rescued during statewide human traffic operation.
They're getting down now.
Holy shit.
There's a takeover, right?
Holy shit, but look at the numbers there. 474 people arrested.
But they're only rolling up the Renfields that get the people for the psychic vampires. You understand?
But how insane is it that this is still happening, right? So all the people that thought that this idea that, you know, well, I mean, whether they tried to make it ridiculous by calling it Pizzagate or connecting it to a pizza place, everybody that thought that was ridiculous, it is not ridiculous that there could potentially be some sort of a pedophile ring.
And see how they trick us,
It's not ridiculous.
See how they trick us. They go pick some pizza place, probably have their people go on, make comments on some message board. CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, the same day come out and say, all the emails are discredited from New York and California and Hawaii because there's this innocent pizza place over here that some of the Democrats go to, and they're all saying that's where the pedophiles are at. Okay, so then the internet all goes and looks at that and starts trying to disprove MSM that, oh, there must be something going on there. So then that turns that all into the big quagmire as a smokescreen from all the admitted stuff that's happening. Because again, I was told by my NYPD high-level sources that they've got all this stuff on Wiener's computer that just got scooped up, during the whole hacking story and the whole story about Hillary and the unsecure servers, and that was being blocked by Obama, and that as soon as Trump got in, they would go back after Weiner. Then I was told by a former section chief from the CIA that indeed this was an operation they were running against him to start leaking all this. And so what you're beginning to see is the beginning of all the pedophilia coming out as they roll up the procurers that grab your kids out of backyards or that go out as social workers and get the kids or whatever. They're rolling all those up right now to get the Renfields. Renfield brings the people to Dracula. Okay, that's the allegory. I'm not saying a real vampire.
Right, I know what you're saying.
And so they're going to now roll it up into the higher level groups right now. That's what Trump's doing.
Here's what's going on with a lot of this stuff. You have to be real careful in how you describe these things and how you talk about these things, because people are looking for any little tiny thing to discredit it. And one of the reasons why they're looking at it, they're doing it for personal reasons, because it seems No one wants to be ridiculous. No one wants to be a fool, and no one wants to be someone who's talking about conspiracies that aren't real. So people are very hesitant to talk about something that's unproven but horrific. Just like right?
15 years ago, it was a conspiracy theory that the Catholic Church had any pedophilia.
Right.
Now we know
Yeah.
30% were doing it. We now know the old Pope had to step down, was blackmailed with info about other high-level priests by the new guy that came in. I mean, this is heavy stuff.
It's the Catholic Church stuff is absolutely horrible and proven over and over again. And again, when I was a kid, it was rumor. It was just things that were whispered. You would hear about it.
And now I always wondered how they're getting away with it. It's so out in the open. How come is it more
They're
arrest?
psychic vampires stealing the energy from the kids.
Well, what the most common thing they do
But
is
why
they
don't
find
they get thrown in jail?
The most common thing they do is
Why?
they find very troubled kids that don't talk about it. People with foster care, kids with no parents, kids who come from really troubled backgrounds.
But nobody will believe.
But you would
Kids
think,
who are abused.
Just like Sandusky ran a abused children's shelter and group, and then would take the kids out, sometimes overnight at rich people's houses to make them feel better.
Yeah.
And then no
scary.
one wants to believe that the assistant coach and that all these powerful people, but when he finally got caught, he was raping 8-year-olds in the showers at noon on a Saturday at the field house.
Yeah, and someone who worked there found it, watched it happen. It walked in on them, literally, and that's what it all fell apart.
So that's
And
what
he
always
was doing it
happens.
so
These guys get
blatantly.
more and more arrogant. And so all I'm telling you is I'm not saying anybody's guilty in these thousands of emails. You go read them, and it's like, the last walnut sauce you brought wasn't very good. Oh, well, these are good walnuts. You're going to, I love walnuts. And then you go read in the FBI breakdown what that's code for.
What's code for walnut?
It means people with brown skin.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Whew. Well,
Ted Gunderson was talking about this for years. FBI chief, former.
He discovered a bunch of it in Los Angeles. He was the head of the LA sector.
So people are going to hear this and they go, "Oh, they're a bunch of Pizzagate truthers. These guys are a bunch of Pizzagate truthers." There's an inclination to automatically dismiss things like this.
Let me be clear. I'm on the air covering 50 topics a day.
Right.
These emails are coming out. I get contacted with one of my sources by people in the NYPD. I get sent documents, photos of their licensed law enforcement. I talk to these people, and they say, "Yeah, no, it's horrible. It's a bunch of pedophilia. It's a bunch of child porn. It's all going to come out. It's tied to all these different groups." And I'm just like, okay. So I go on air and I say, "Listen, I got this from real NYPD and other sources." And then Eric Prince of Blackwater, who still runs one of the biggest groups in the world.
Doesn't he run some sort of military operation in like Bahrain or something now, or Saudi Arabia or something?
The point is that he comes out and says,
"Is it the UAE?"
You can ask Q about it. He knows all about it. But the point is that all this happens, and he comes out in the news. Okay, through the White House organ, Breitbart, okay, that's basically from Trump's mouth, and says, "Yes, we've confirmed high-level pedophilia rings in the Clinton operation. We're going to bring them down." And so that's what all this is.
Why did Breitbart tweet about that in 2011? Do you remember that tweet?
Breitbart knew about it.
It came out.
Breitbart said, "I'm going to bring out the biggest thing that's going to bring down the Democrats," and they poisoned him right here in California.
You think they poisoned him?
No, absolutely, they killed him.
What happened? I didn't even know how he died. I thought he died of a heart attack. Is that what
Yeah.
Are you fake laughing at me? Pull up the
no, I'm laughing at I know you're quoting the media. I'm not laughing at you.
Pull up
Don't
the
choke me
Breitbart-
out, Joe.
I won't, buddy. You know I love you.
Anyways.
Pull up the Breitbart email or the Breitbart tweet because it's a crazy
See, it turns
tweet.
out Joe knows all about this.
Well, the tweet is pretty insane. When you read it, you're like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Like, everybody, there's an instantaneous reaction that people have that
because
are
they're not
intelligent.
pedophiles. Because the
people
average
that aren't
person
pedophiles.
isn't a pedophile.
Right, you're right.
So you tell me people are doing this to kids, you don't believe
You're
it.
like, get the fuck out of here. That's nonsense.
Yeah,
but when you tell people about the stuff that's been proven, the ones that have been
here's the big
proven,
news.
they don't account. They don't attach those.
I was on air saying, I'm told this by NYPD in like 3 different shows, and that it's going to come out that Wiener's sending child porn. And it's in the news today.
Well, what they're saying, what they're accusing Wiener of, apparently, is sending sexually explicit text to an underage girl. That's what's against the law. So they're calling it child porn, but it's essentially he was sending pornographic text to a 15-year-old.
Yeah, well, I was told it's a lot more than that. What they're
Maybe
doing
it is. This is just what
they're
was in the
doing is
paper today.
minimizing it because the higher-ups are being told, you don't let this out. Let me tell you, Wiener supposedly had tens of thousands of emails.
Wiener should be a fucking comedian, for sure. He's a freak. He's got real problems. He's a good communicator. I bet he's hilarious. Come on, don't you think?
All I know is I'm not saying even Wiener's a pedophile. All I know is, listen, we all know about Jerry Epstein, okay? And that
I don't know about Jerry Epstein.
That was the Lolita Express. Just Google that. And
what is that?
Bill Clinton was like on 20 flights. First it was 7.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
to this pedophile island that has
about.
a temple in it. And then he was also flying to this Middle Eastern country with this sheik that's an admitted pedophile with multi-million-dollar checks and Bill Clinton on the plane. And Bill Clinton's a known sexual predator. Okay, so all this stuff's going on, and so they start bringing up lawsuits against Donald Trump with Jane Doe's claiming he'd been with Epstein, even though there's no proof in the law, because they make you log even on private jets. None of it was ever true. He'd been at a few.
Here it is. How progressive guru John Podesta isn't household name as world-class underage sex slave op cover-upper defending unspeakable dregs escapes me. Early on, did John Podesta imagine his baby MMFA, I don't know what that is, would be covering up for underage sex ops and hate crimes against blacks? Huh. I don't know what that means. What is MMFA, young Jamie? Media Matters.
Isn't that Soros?
Yeah, that's Soros. But also, guess who owns the pizza place?
Who?
Where all this went on? It's Media Matters head guy David Brock's boyfriend, and that is where they have major Democratic Party fundraisers. And then they had rock bands there that gave live spoken word dissertations of the love of children.
What?
Yeah, I'm talking about guys like in goth drag talking about how much they love children.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, I don't even really want to repeat what they really pull it up if you want.
There's a video of them saying that in the pizza place?
This is a Comet Ping Pong. So
why, you know, why is, I mean, this, it's a very, very bizarre subject, but why is this like so, what is this right here? You bringing it up, Jamie? I guess, yeah. Okay, give me some volume.
And you all are very grateful that you are below a Subway sandwich shop.
Yes!
And Jerry is known to hang out down here. He likes world sounds. Tamales.
What are we listening to?
And little boys. And children.
I think that was his manager.
No.
We all have preferences. Anyway.
That was weird.
That's super weird.
That's
First of all,
that's a Comet Ping Pong?
Right. Anybody listening, let's describe what that person looked like. They were wearing a wig, a blonde wig, and it was a guy.
Like a
looks like a
transvestite.
worst nightmare.
A transvestite or a woman who's just smoked every cigarette. It's one of the two. But this is the fact that was going on at that place seems really odd. But that sounds like someone ad-libbing, you know. We all have preferences, like trying to be funny. Like it's almost like
no,
comedian.
but it's the guys in the crowd
Right.
saying it, and it's
little boys.
It's more than it's all
boys.
the artwork that
right.
was there.
Oh yeah, a lot of creepy artwork connected to that guy. A lot of creepy artwork. I mean, that's a fact. There's a lot of facts. So it's one of those things like
But I'm not saying they've done anything, and you're not saying that.
And I'm not either. That's what's really important.